my wife should divorce me, but she won't divorce me because she's too religious. She doesn't believe in it. So I'm kind of lucky. And then he pours himself another cocktail and sits back, and you're kind of like, dude, that's not the point. The point is like, what are you going to do? We talked about happy wife, happy life, but your wife's not happy, man. And you know she would leave in a heartbeat if it wasn't for her external religious belief. What if that changes? Welcome back, guys, to another episode of The Powerful Man Show. I am your host, Doug Holt, with my co-host, Arthur Magulianiti and Tim Matthews. Guys, what I want to talk about today is a very serious subject. We've talked about it a lot on this show. And the importance is because we see the other side of this so much, right? We see the downturn. We get the calls in mid-January, February of men who are heartbroken and distraught. And what I'm talking about is Divorce Day. Now, a little background. You guys all know this, so it feels weird telling you guys. But for our listeners that are newer to the show, they may not have heard about this. It blew my mind when I found out. Now, of course, we know that 50% of marriages end in divorce. Who would take those odds, right? In Vegas or anywhere else, maybe, if you're gambling and having something. But for something that's so important as marriage, 50% odds aren't that great, yet all of us think we're going to be on the 50% that makes it, okay? Now, here's another stat. After I heard that stat, blew my mind. 70% of divorces are initiated by a woman, by the wife. That means most likely 70% of the 50% that go through divorce were surprised, shocked to find out their wife's not happy, right? That goes to 90%. 90% if your wife has a college degree or higher. What, right? So now all of a sudden you take the people who are guys who are waiting and thinking things are going to get better or hoping things get better. They get blindsided by a woman is going to be filing for the divorce. 90% if their wife has a college degree or happier. That's huge statistics. And most of these catch the men off guard. Now, when does this happen? Well, in what we call family law, which is divorce law, right? Most of these, the largest day for divorces to be filed is the Monday after January 1st, the week after January 1st. It is called Divorce Day. You can Google it. You can look it up. Blew my mind, Tim, when you brought it to my attention. Absolutely amazing. And we have some theories on why this happens. And guys, at the end of the show, we're going to tell you how to pull this back so you're not the man that gets handed the divorce papers in early January. So, Tim, why do you think this happens?
Various reasons. One, guys can be so oblivious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, things are good because we've stopped arguing. No, she's checking out. Things are not good, they're worse.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just focus on this business issue. Then once that's fixed, I'll focus on the marriage issue. You might not have the time. She won't divorce me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she needs me. Mm. She can't do without me. She'd be stupid to be without me. And then you've got the holiday season that kind of coincides with this. Okay, we'll just hang on for Thanksgiving. Maybe if US-based, maybe, or even Canadian, maybe Thanksgiving will make it better. Maybe that time with the family, maybe this will be the time that the guy will make an effort and show up.
This is what the woman is thinking, by the way.
Mm-hmm. The guy then spends most of his time on his phone, be it obviously or running off to the bathroom and doing it in secret. The guy's checked out, he drinks too much, he doesn't get involved. Or maybe Christmas, the holiday season, maybe that will make a difference. Nope. The guy continues to leave the decisions to be made up by the wife, where they're going to go, what they're going to do, what they're going to eat. He's just like another kid, just a burden. And it just arrives at this point where the wife begins to think, hey, do you know what? I have another kid on my hands. It'd be easier if I wasn't with him. I'd have less to think about. So I don't have to think about him and getting him sorted and the stress of being around him. So now I've got this period of, use business terms, Q4 out of the way, right? Because lots of key dates within that. I want to make my exit. I'm going to have the entire year to figure things out and get good so that by the time it comes around again, we can have a reasonably good time, maybe even a better time, because I don't have to worry about all this other stuff. And all the while, in my experience, a lot of the guys have those false assumptions of she won't leave me. It's good because we're not arguing. And when I solve this business issue, then I'll focus on the marriage. And it just trips them up massively. Now, the smart guys, they're the ones that honestly reach out to help and speak to our advisors or speak to other people, whatever. And they realize that there's an issue here and they've got to change something before it's too late. Some guys leave it too late and reach out once they've been handed divorce papers. But luckily for us and what we do, we're able to help guys pull it back from the brink of divorce. We've done that many times. I think it's an incredible thing we do. But some guys leave it too late. And then the woman gets frustrated, right? Why didn't you make the change sooner? Why did it take me filing for you to finally see? Why is it taking all this? So some guys leave it too late.
Yeah, so I'm going to clear a couple things up for the listeners who aren't as experienced in these things and give you some analogies on here. So oftentimes for a woman to file, usually a woman will say when we talk to them, or my wife who coaches women talks to them, they've been given clues for a couple years.
Oh, yeah.
They've been
time.
looking for a couple years.
Big time.
And after a while, they get so frustrated. Also, a woman typically won't file for divorce unless she has a clear exit plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Another job, another man, and a place to live. One of those types of things, oftentimes. And so that the guy just doesn't pick up the clues or thinks
Big time.
it's going to get better. And then to your point, Tim, the holidays approach and the woman's hoping that this is going to be the last stand, or she's most likely just waiting so the kids have a good Christmas with the family, get that last family photo.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy, to your point, when he shows up, oblivious, he drinks too much, he's disengaged, he doesn't know how to connect with her, it erupts into fights. He thinks he's going to get holiday sex. It's not. He gets frustrated. She's also not getting laid. She's frustrated, and things go down the wayside there. Now, the other point that you brought up was a guy thinking, oh, well, she won't divorce me. I literally heard this. So I'm at a function. I got to be careful what I say. I'm at a function. I'll say that. And there's a guy there who's had a few beverages, and he's batting out of his league. Let's just say that. And he knows it. And he even brings it up in front of everybody else, which was an awkward thing. But he's like, yeah, my wife should divorce me, but she won't divorce me because she's too religious. She doesn't believe in it. So I'm kind of lucky. And then he pours himself another cocktail and sits back. And you're kind of like, dude, that's not the point. The point is like, what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to make her? We talked about happy wife, happy life, but your wife's not happy, man. And you know she would leave in a heartbeat if it wasn't for her external religious belief. What if that changes? What if she starts justifying, or people change their belief systems over time? It does happen. So what happens then? Where are you going to be left rather than taking action, joining something like the activation method, or doing some changes for your life, your health, your whatever else it may be for them? And so for this guy's wife, I would imagine, she's going to go, okay, I'm going to make it through the next holiday season. If he gets too drunk or he's the same old things happen, and maybe he slips further down the road, after Christmas is done and the presents are thrown away and New Year's coming in, she's going to make that phone call, right? She's going to call her friend. Her friend's going to say, talk to Larry, the divorce attorney or whoever. And she's going to go down there, and Larry knows it's divorce day. So he's got templates of paperwork ready for the floods of women who are going to come into his office.
And you made a really good point. They ignore the warning shots.
They always ignore it.
Let's just clarify some of those warning shots, right? Because hopefully by the time this comes out, if we label some of these, identify some of them, the guys listening might be able to be like, oh, crap, I've got 5 of those. I'm going to change something before it's too late. I think on some hand it can be easy to miss them. So let's make it very clear on what some of these warning shots are.
Yeah, I think one for sure is that she's not complaining anymore, that she's gone quiet. Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Big time.
A lot of guys think, she's always complaining and all of this. Well, that she still cares. She's still trying to sort things out. But if she's gone quiet, then you need to panic.
Yeah. 2 is if you have a sexless marriage.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the thing, guys. Women are more sexually charged, I think, than men are. At least equal. And so if you're in a sexless marriage, that's a problem. She's not happy. You're not happy. The only thing that makes you different than her brother is the fact that you're intimate with her. Hopefully she's not with her brother, right? So that's the only difference that comes through.
What else?
We have guys from Cyprus that listen to this. I'm sure.
Yeah. What's another sign?
I think she's on her phone a lot, right?
Distraction.
Yeah, she's
disengaged.
Disengaged,
Yep.
yeah. So you may be trying to connect and she's just on an evening on a phone.
Yeah, that's a good one.
On a phone, scrolling. Or you guys are going to bed at separate times. So you come in, you're having dinner with the family. Maybe she's made dinner and left it in the oven for you. Maybe not. You got to make it yourself. But either way, you're in separate rooms. She's gone to bed. You stay up. Separate times. Maybe even separate beds.
Another good one is if she's suddenly started working out.
I was just going to say that one.
If she started changed the routine, she's starting to do stuff that makes her look better, and then
And you're not having sex.
And you're not having sex, then you know it's probably not for you.
It's not for you. I can almost guarantee it. It's for somebody else that she's fantasizing with. Excuse me, and more likely talking to.
Yeah.
Yes.
What other warning signs?
You were spending more time at work. Instead of going home on an evening, you're finding excuses and reasons to work late, even though you know you're not getting more done. But you're finding excuses to avoid going home. And that's a big one.
Yeah. Well, she does.
Yeah.
Oh, she does. Yeah,
Yeah.
whichever. Yeah.
Here's a warning sign that doesn't sound like a warning sign, but somehow guys miss it. She's telling you she's not happy and things aren't working.
Oh, I mean, how obvious.
The guys, it's so obvious, but we hear this all the time for the guys, and they think it's just a complaint, and they don't realize the severity of it.
It's because they don't kick up a fuss, right? It's just said, usually, if it isn't in the heat of an argument, it's said in quite a calm way, and they're not going to drive it home. They may do for a little bit, but not going to continue to drive it home for months. Well, in fact, I say that out loud, there's been complaints usually for years.
Yeah.
With a lot of the guys, right? But to your point, Doug, yeah, it's very explicit as to, hey, I'm not happy, this isn't working. But because the guy's maybe buried his head in his phone or distracted or whatever, he just brushes it off and doesn't even pay attention to it.
Yeah, I think the changes in habits, so working out, perhaps picking up a different job, a new friend group, starts hanging out with. One that I've seen happen a lot is women will start hanging out with with divorced women.
Yes.
Right? That'll happen a lot where they'll leave their married friend groups. They won't associate with them as much. And you'll start noticing that she's going out with more women who are divorced or single. So shopping for new clothes, you kind of did this blanket thing of women looking better and taking better care of themselves. If all of a sudden you guys are disconnected and she's walking around the house singing and dancing, it's not for you. It's for whoever she's chatting with on her phone or anybody else that she's thinking about. These are all warning signs that men just don't pick up on. And I think besides the warning signs, the way you avoid divorce day is you got to put in some serious work quickly.
Big time.
Work on your relationship. Your wife needs to know you care. She needs to feel seen, heard, and desired. And that's why we have a thing that we teach the guys called the triad of connection. Yep. The triad of connection is 3 components. We have a bunch of podcasts about it. You guys can listen to if you're not familiar with what it is, but you need to get on that ship and write it.
Big time.
You cannot survive on hopium, right? You can't be injecting hopium into your body where you're just hoping things get better. Let's sweep it under the rug. It'll get better. Hey, I'll buy the lake house. Another common thing guys do. They'll buy her a new car, buy a lake house because that'll make it better. They'll do this, that, or the other. Let's go on this expensive trip, or I'll buy her gifts. And it might work for a week or so. And, and that new car smell wears off pretty friggin' quick. And then next thing you know, the guy's working more to try to make this work. And, unfortunately, we hear this a lot where he's spending all the money on her and she hasn't left him yet, but she's seeing somebody else on the side and he just becomes a paycheck.
Big time. Big time. I think from the triad of connection as well, the clean slate letter. Such a big piece of it where the guy is able to take ownership. He sees what's going on. He takes ownership for his part in it and creates a direction. I think that's one of the key pieces there's only 3 pieces to the triad of connection, hence why it's a triad, but I think for the wife to get that letter from him is such a jerk in the experience that invariably it's often received very well. It breaks the pattern. Oh, I'm going to sit up and pay attention. So even if some woman is going through divorce and she's initiated it and she's in discussions with the lawyer or whoever it may be, oftentimes when she receives that letter, it puts a pause to those things. It buys time. Obviously, the guy's got to be consistent and authentic with what he's saying, and his actions must align to what the letter says. But with the guys we work with, lucky enough, they're great guys, and it does. But that whole idea of, hey, I realize what's going on. I acknowledge how you must feel in this and how I've made you feel. I understand where it's come from within me, and here's what I am doing to change it, and here's where I want to go moving forwards.
Yeah. Because in that letter, you actually see her, and that's what she's been begging for all of this time.
Yeah, I was also going to say actions speak louder than words, right? There's so many times that men make false promises, right? I mean, how many times do guys say they're going to start working out only not to do it? They tell their wife all the things they're going to do. She's tired of hearing all the bullshit. She knows that you have these hopes and dreams and it's not happening. And so what I always find interesting is men that sign up for the activation method, things turn around really quickly for a lot of the guys. Not all of them, but for a lot of the guys, because the wife's like, oh, okay, he's actually taking action. He's showing up to these coaching sessions. He's trying new things. And they will test, the women will test as they should, but actions speak louder than words. And that's why some of these guys turn around their marriages in the first week, is because all of a sudden their wife's like, oh, he's taking it seriously now. I feel seen, I feel heard, and I feel desired because he's working on this.
And he doesn't make a big deal of it.
Nope.
Yeah.
He plays it down, doesn't even mention anything, and just does it quietly for him because he knows he needs to change. And that's where it makes a big impact versus making a big hurrah of it. And then the words are louder than the actions, and that just makes it worse.
It all feeds into this expression where people say, I gave him or I gave her everything except what she needed.
Yep.
Yeah. And a lot of guys get caught up in saying, well, I bring all this money. I've created this lifestyle. She has everything she needs. Actually, not. She hasn't got you. She hasn't got that connection that she really wants over and above everything else. And so, yeah, you get to give her what she needs.
I think that's a lie that guys tell themselves.
100%.
I'm doing this for us.
Oh, yeah.
You're not. You're not. Let's be real. You're doing it for you.
Yeah.
Because you love to build businesses. You love the challenge. You love the creativity. So just be real with the fact you're doing it for you and you get a hell of a lot out of it. And then find a way to give her what she needs while you're getting what you need in the business.
Exactly.
Well, I've been accused of that.
Oh, big time. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. No doubt about it. So, gentlemen, when you're looking at staring down the barrel of divorce day, like the day where most marriages, don't be a statistic. Don't be one of the guys that we get a phone call for when it's too late. What I'm going to say is call now. Like basically call now. It sounds like an infomercial. Call now. But get on a call with one of our advisors. I mean, our phones blow up and our calendars fill up in the mid-January because it's men who've been served divorce papers and they're trying to peel it back because they know men who've been through our program have been able to reconcile with their wife post-divorce or before the divorce actually gets finalized. And yes, that's true. It doesn't work for everybody, for sure, because that's almost too late. By that time, the woman's like, look, I gave you every chance in the world. So you want to stop that as soon as possible. And if you don't get involved in the activation method for relationships, although it's helped thousands of men, do something else. Do another program, right? Maybe this one isn't for you, right? Our program's designed for businessmen. If you want a program, I think there's a program out there where guys box each other or something. If that works for you, do it. That's not our style. It's not what we do. We don't define a powerful man as someone who beats the crap out of other men just to say that they're a powerful man. That's not us. We're a group of great guys who are doing the work for our family, for ourselves, and we're business leaders. So if that resonates with you, then I would recommend getting on a call with one of our advisors. But whatever you do, do something. Don't leave it until it's too late. That's the key here.
Yeah, don't live in the land of gray is what I'd like to say. You know, if you don't have the relationship you want, you know, stop lying to yourself, stop living in the land of gray, it's not going to get better without some work. So start doing the work and start it today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, gentlemen, as we always say, in the moment of insight, take massive action. Until next time, have an amazing week. We're in your corner, and we'll see you next time on The Powerful Man Show.